So, welcome to the session. We continue our study of Master's book, Experiencing Being. So, we are on the chapter called Sacred Sex. Yeah. So, this is one of the greatness of and the practicality of Master Choa. Most spiritual teachers, I don't know if you have come across other spiritual teachers, but most of them will tell you that you have to choose either be in family life, that means either choose to have sex or choose spirituality. You cannot have both. So instead, Master Choa, first of all, he does not treat sex as unnecessary or unhealthy or unnatural or improper or anything like that. And he blends the two. He shows us how sex itself can be helpful or useful in our spiritual progress. And you see, one has to also see this from the perspective of time. Yeah. Most of the ancient religions and spiritual schools, they come from the dark ages. In India, we call it Kali Yuga. So now that Kali Yuga is receding, more advanced teachings are available. In fact, students now, I would say all of you as students are more advanced, more mentally developed, more have a greater and more deeper understanding as compared to people maybe 300, 500, 1,000 years ago. Because that is when Kali Yuga or the dark ages were at their strongest. And Master has talked about this in many books. He says now these teachings can be disclosed because earlier people were not advanced or not mentally advanced or mentally capable of understanding, the teachings that were given. Okay, so we are on page 56. Let's start from the top. When you feel love, when you recognize the divinity, there is an automatic exchange of energy. So, what Master is telling us here is, even without the physical act of sex, if you just recognize the divinity in your partner, you say, I am the soul, I am a divine being, and you are a soul, you are a divine being. I am a child of God, you are a child of God. There is already an automatic exchange of energy. So it may be accompanied by the physical act of sex or may not be. Regardless, there will be this automatic exchange of energy. Now, what is important for this is that the system should be clean. That means the more spiritual progress you have made, the greater will be the exchange of energy. That is when the sex becomes sacred sex. All right. Okay, shall we move on? You give your partner love, and your partner will give you love. You do not have to demand anything, it will come to you. So, here, Master is reminding us that the law of karma applies even in these sort of relationships. You give love, you get love. As simple as that. Something like that. And I remember in one of the videos that is broadcast on the full moon, that is made available or that is shared on the full moon. I hope you are aware of this, globalpranichealing.com. On that website, every full moon for a few days, they release a video of Master Choa. He's, talking about some subject or the other. In one of those videos, I remember Master is talking about this person who he says is not good looking at all, but women really, pursue him. Women want to have sex with him. Why? Because he listens to them. He shows understanding. He is loving in his approach to the ladies. So that is, I think, what Master is talking about here, that it is, everything else is secondary. What is important? You give love, you will get love. If you don't give love, but you demand love, well, that is going to be difficult. Okay, let's move on. Have you noticed that sometimes after orgasm you feel empty? This is because you have not recognized the divinity in you and that the person in front of you is divine. So, like Master talked about it in the first sutra that we studied today, it is important to recognize the divinity in yourself and in the other person. That is when the sex becomes elevated. Otherwise, it is a purely physical act. And you see, when it is a purely physical act, there is sex energy, your partner may have sex energy, both of you spend the sex energy, and after that, the energy is spent and you feel empty, not fulfilled. If, however, you were to follow the advice of Master Choa and precede the physical act, first, you know, जो sex करने से पहले, if you recognize the divinity in yourself, you say, yes, I am the soul, and your partner also, you recognize the divinity in your partner, the energy will be enhanced. Why? Because in the first sutra, he says there is an exchange of energy. We are not just using up energy, but there is an exchange, there is an elevation, there is an increase in the energy. Yeah. And now, Master, in the next thing, Master tells us how. So, page 57, the box item there. Recognize the divinity of your beloved. Look into the eyes of your partner. Silently say, I salute the divinity within you with love, respect, and gratitude. We are one in love, in sweetness, in happiness, and in joy. We are one with all. Namaste. Yeah. So, Master says, look into the eyes of your partner. Why? Let's just read the next page, the first sutra. It says, the eyes are the windows to the soul and of the soul. When you gently and lovingly look into the eyes of your partner, two souls can become one. You see, it's like this. You are the soul using this body. Similarly, your partner, so there is you and there is your partner. You are the soul using the body. He or she is the soul occupying the body. Now, when you, through your eyes, you look into the eyes, and given that the eyes are the windows of and to the soul, so this it becomes a soul to soul communication. And this is something that Master, one of the great teachings that Master has revealed in the Soul workshop and in the Soul book, the Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul book and workshop, where he said this is the proper way to do Namaste. You look into the eyes of the other person and then you say Namaste. And mentally, what are you saying? I, the soul, salute the divinity in you. The divine thing, the divine being in me salutes the divine being in you. Yeah. So that is why now let's come back to the box item. Recognize the divinity of your beloved. Look into the eyes of your partner. That's why looking into the eyes, very, very important. And you see, this is the greatness of Master Choa. He is a technical guru. He doesn't just give you the knowledge, the wisdom, the principles, but he also gives us the technique, the method. So recognize, look into the eyes of your partner and silently say, and he said what you have to say. Now, obviously, just saying these things mechanically is not going to help. You must feel them, believe them. There must be involvement when you say that. And my suggestion is practice this. If you are sexually active, that is, uh, practice this. Put it into practice, see the difference. And if you can persuade or convince your partner also to do this, just say it, like, let's do it as an experiment. Now, after you do this, whether you have actually physical sex or not is optional. You may or may not. But just look each other in the eye and have this intention or have this thought and see, do it for a little while. In the first workshop I attended of Master Choa, he said all the couples who are here in that workshop, there were about maybe 500, 600 people. And out of them, a few people came up. He called them near the stage and he said, so, they all like sort of put their foreheads together. Not together, but close to each other, and he made them look each other. So they put their arms around each other, and he made them look in the eye, and he made them practice this. And one of them was a sort of a very close relative of mine, and they were telling me later that it was a very deep experience. I mean, it was very profound. When they came through that, they were kind of in bliss for some time. And obviously, it was in a public place, so there was no physical sex. They just stood there, put arms around each other, and looked each other in the eye. And Master led them through this affirmation. So you can try this. You should try this. Actually, this is not just theoretical knowledge. You must put it into practice. All right. Shall we go ahead? We are on page 58. So we've done the first sutra. I hope we don't need to discuss it more. Well, I'll read it again. The eyes are the windows to the soul and of the soul. That means the soul looks through the eyes, and through the eyes of a person, you can look into that person's soul. Or, it's a way of connecting soul to soul. When you gently and lovingly look into the eyes, two souls can become one. Yeah? you know no need to go to the Himalayas and spend your life in sannyas. Simple day to day life can be made spiritual. All right, let's go to the next. Let's read the next two sutras together. With or without the influence of the higher soul, sex is good. But in the influence of the soul, you don't only have good sex, but you have a loving union. Recognizing the divinity in your beloved. Sexual union with the right spiritual attitude towards your beloved eventually makes you a real brahmacharya. Brahman means God. Acharya is one who practices. Brahmacharya is one who practices union with God. Reminder, what is the name of the chapter? Sacred Sex. So these are really great and unique teachings. I don't think I have come across any other spiritual teacher who has explained this subject so beautifully and so practically. You see, again and again, you remember Master says family life is one of the fastest ways to spiritual development. You remember that, I hope? He's showing us how every aspect of family life, including sex, he's showing how it can be used to make your life more spiritual. So, no need to be celibate. Although Master says it's a matter of choice. If you choose to be celibate, that's your choice. That's fine as well. But even if you don't choose to be celibate, you can still aim for spiritual progress in life. How? One of the ways, one of the things you do is you make your sex spiritual. Yeah, and the method is given, not very difficult, correct? I hope you agree with me. It's not very difficult. It is not a difficult way. Whoever your partner is, and even if, for example, you have decided not to, have sex or not have it very frequently or whatever, you can still practice this. Just look each other in the eye and remind yourself, and both remind yourselves that you are the soul, not the body, and that you are, what the affirmation on the previous page said. Salute the divinity, and we are one in love, in sweetness, in happiness, and in joy. We are one with all. Yeah. And again, a reminder, if you remember, Master has explained that Lord Krishna. So some of the parts of Lord Krishna's life are to explain these teachings, to explain the concept of brahmacharya in a fuller, deeper fashion. And for that, I would suggest that the Existence of God is Self-Evident book, and in the Inner Secrets of Hinduism Revealed books, he has explained this in great detail. Yeah. Okay. Let's move forward. So we come to page 59. The heading is Death. Interesting, right? That the name of the book is Experiencing Being, the Golden Lotus Sutra on Life, and then there is a chapter called Death. To die is to be born. With death comes freedom. So, my suggestion is please pay attention to this chapter. It is a very important chapter. Many things we will study here, they may seem contrary to common sense or to common belief, but think about them, really think about them. You will find that again, Master is giving us really, really very deep knowledge. Yeah. You see, the fact is, we'll discuss this, the chapter and so on next time. But let me just talk about it that in the Indian system, you will read this again and again, where it is declared that the minute somebody is born, death is now inevitable. Birth means death will follow. Now, how much time in between, what will happen in between, that is a different thing. But it is just a matter of time. Somebody will spend a few days in this life, somebody will spend a few years, somebody will spend 100 years, etc., etc. Death is inevitable. But unfortunately, we live in denial. We think, or somehow our mental consciousness is we will never die. And I'm also studying the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So there it is marked as one of the first few weaknesses that have to be removed. This thought form has to be transformed if you want to progress spiritually. Correct attitude towards death. And that is what we will learn in this chapter. Yeah. And you may be surprised where Master says, with death comes freedom. It may seem very contrary, but we will see how, that is really, really very true. So I think we will stop here for today.